One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
One of the questions that Kamala Harris was asked was about how she differentiates herself. Is there any daylight, effectively, between what she would do and what the Biden-Harris administration did? Let's watch part of the answer.
We're obviously two different people, and we have a lot of shared life experiences. For example, the way we feel about our family and our parents and so on. But we're also different people, and I will bring those sensibilities to how I lead.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Molly, what do you make of that?
I'm surprised, frankly, that she doesn't have more to say about this, given that she and her campaign know that this is one of the main questions that voters have about her. And one of the main things she's been trying to establish as part of her candidacy is the idea that she would represent a break from the past 4 years, and to not be able to come up with something to say in that moment. She continues to not be particularly nimble on her feet in a lot of these interviews, and this is a very obvious question that gave her an opportunity, frankly, to differentiate herself in a way that would have made news, that would have answered, I think, the curiosity of a lot of voters who want to know how she would lead differently. And she's not very specific in laying that out, and she can't point to a decision she would have made differently, which, in an electorate that thinks that doesn't like the way this administration has led, and that doesn't like the track that the country is on, that may not be a very satisfactory answer.
I mean, it's a delicate dance, because it's not as if she's coming in, it's not as if she just fell out of a coconut tree. She's been part of this administration as the vice president for 4 years now.
It's not like she just fell out of the coconut tree, but it pretty much is like she just fell out of a coconut tree, because she's ending up in the same place, on her butt, not knowing what happened. You see, that was from The View. And it basically shocked everybody today. When that dropped, when she came out and said, no, I wouldn't have done anything, she has basically put an exclamation point on everything everyone has been talking about in the last 24 hours. Between the dust up with Ron DeSantis, where he spanked her, and then following that up by going on 60 Minutes and completely botching that, and then going on The View today and making herself look even stupider, and then finally, finishing everything off by going to talk with Howard Stern and embarrassing herself there as well. I mean, she has completely, in my estimation, and many other people, effectively ended her campaign. Now, I talked about it earlier. CBS had a big hand in it. CBS basically took Kamala Harris out by the woodshed and spanked her down and left her basically for dead at this point. I mean, you can't even imagine what she has done to her campaign. The numbers are going to crater. She's circling the toilet bowl. In all essence, this thing is over. 30 days left. You're not going to fix this. They had to put her out there. Remember, before all this happened today and yesterday, they had to put her out there because her numbers were already tanking. So the hiding in the closet, operation didn't work. And so now they're like, well, we got to get you out there. Let's see if we can't put you in some familiar places, people that are going to coddle you. And of course, they thought 60 Minutes would have been a perfect place to be coddled. Nope, not so much. Well, maybe The View, they'll be able to make sure you're okay. Nope, because you have to open your mouth. And then, of course, you go on to Howard Stern. And by the way, a lot of people don't know is CBS also sliced and diced Tim Walz. I'm not sure if people have been telling you that or if you've been seeing it, but he fell flat on his face. So I'm not really sure how they think they're going to revive this. If they think they're going to basically do what we all think they're capable of doing and just try to steal it. Because at this point, and I will agree with everybody, it's not a matter, I mean, when I say it's over, she is definitely going to lose if this were a free and fair election. And I think somebody else knows it as well. And that somebody else, let me just show you, is Donald Trump. Notice the timestamp. That is today at 3:20 p.m. Anybody that cheats on this election is going to jail. Just let that sink in for a second. Because as he wrote that, that's a man who is extremely confident that he's going to win. He didn't say in that, I'll just put it up there again. He didn't say, if I win, you guys are that might cheat are going to jail. He didn't say that. He just flat out said with 2 exclamation points in capital letters, anybody that does this stuff, you're going to jail. That's a man who knows right now he's in command of this race. He knows, barring any funky stuff, it's over. It's not just me. He feels it as well. And I mentioned it earlier today before I got blipped off that someone had commented on one of my posts and said, Barry, stop telling people it's over because it'll make people too overconfident and then they won't go out and vote. So let me just clear that up one more time, for the last time. Everything I'm saying about it being over is basically dependent upon everybody getting off the couch, getting fat ass Harry off the couch, as Trump says, and getting out there and vote. Swamp the vote. Make it too big to rig. Take it upon yourself to make sure that nefarious stuff that they like to do can't happen. If you do your part, there's no way this man can lose. She's not going to get it. It's just not going to happen. So I'm sure some of you have seen the interview on CBS with 60 Minutes. So I had to do something a little bit different. Let me just warn you. I have to do a lot of modification because CBS and 60 Minutes, they hold the copyright on that video. So I can't show you the actual video, but we're going to listen, and then I'm going to comment along. So it looks a little bit like this, so you guys get an idea.
One of the questions that Kamala Harris was asked.
So we're gonna hear it. We're gonna listen, and then I've got some different things that I want to go ahead and basically interject with as we go through. We'll take some comments, but I really want to do a deep dive on this. So let me get to the starting point here and go down to here. Where are we at? 13, that would be 11 and a half. All right.
That would have answered, I think, the curiosity of a lot of voters who want to know.
Oops, sorry. That was at the beginning part of that.
How she would lead differently, and she's not very specific in laying that out, and she can't point to a decision she would have made differently, which, in an electorate that thinks that doesn't like the way this administration has led and that doesn't like the track that the country is on, that may not be a very satisfactory.
All right, so the reason why that's a problem is her team needs her to differentiate herself from Dementia Joe. I'm different. I'm not the same person as he is. Well, you went and told the people on The View you wouldn't have done anything different. So you are now hopelessly attached to everything that Dementia Joe has done. Everything. You won't change a single thing. So over the last 4 years, Trump can just tell people, you've seen what he's done. You understand everything he's done. You understand that Dementia Joe has said she's been attached to the hip and was involved in every meeting, including the flawed pullout in Afghanistan. You wouldn't have changed a thing, huh? So you're telling the American, trust me, this is going to come out with Trump. So you're telling the American people, you would have done it Afghanistan exactly the same way. That's what you're telling people. There's nothing you would have changed. He was president, you were vice president, you affected that withdrawal, and you just told the American people you wouldn't have done anything different. I don't think that's going to sit with people. But this interview really gets into some things that I don't think this woman even imagined she was going to be asked, and in the manner that she was going to be asked. So let's get into it.
I've been covering the border for years.
This is Bill Whitaker from CBS.
And so I know this is not a problem that started with your administration.
Correct.
But there was an historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first
Now notice what he said. He said undocumented. Listen to what she calls them.
3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long...
All right. I have to repeat the question because oftentimes throughout this interview, he would ask her a question and she would come back with word salad. And so, as I've said many times, you forget the question. Some of the times he came back at her and goes, hey, but what I was really asking you. So in this question, he's like, would you have, all these people came flying across the border. All these newcomers, they're flying. Would you have, basically done the same thing? Why'd you fly it open?
Long-standing problem. And solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
What I was asking was...
Okay, now he's like, no, you didn't answer my question. I understand this is going to be on 60 Minutes on Sunday, and she just came back with word salad, and he goes, what I'm asking you is...
Was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think...
All right, so the reason why this is an important question is basically at this point, he trapped her. He trapped her dead on. Was it a mistake? What are the answers? What could you possibly answer there? Yes, then you're saying it was a mistake. No, then why'd you do it? And so it was one of those questions like you would ask somebody, how long you've been beating your wife? What? You better come up with a very, very strong substantive answer. Otherwise, it looks like you've been beating your wife. Hey, Barry, how long you been beating your wife? Wait a minute. You didn't ask if. He just flat out said, Did you make a mistake? You, me, if somebody asks us a question, we can answer that pretty easily. No, I didn't make a mistake. Okay, great. Yes, I made a mistake. Ooh, okay. Why? How'd you fix it? Let's see how she answers this question. Did you make a mistake?
The policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers today,
watch.
because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by...
Who? Who? Hey, she said it, not me. She just called them illegals. It fell out of her mouth. Her words, not mine. For years now, we have been told, do not call these people illegals. What did she call them? Illegals. So, of course, right there, red flags went up all over Twitter and X. Did you hear what she said? Oh, I heard what she said. But she didn't answer the question. Was it a mistake?
Half.
But should you
we
have
have
done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by half.
And he's asking her a third time, should you have done that? Now, you guys have seen shows on television like Law and Order and different shows of that nature when, you know, the prosecutor asks you the same question 3 times and you're doing it in front of the jury. And the jury sees that you're evading the question and it don't look good for you. I'm going to ask you one more time, sir. Did you beat your wife? Well, you know, it wasn't like what you think. You know, I was walking, and the jury's being like sitting there going, oh, yeah, you whooped up on her. Yeah, You decided you were going to turn her into Lumpy Rutherford. We understand. She's a prosecutor. She comes from basically being the attorney general and a district attorney. She understands right now she's stuck. She can't answer that question. It is a question that someone who's savvy enough to be a lawyer realizes, I have no way to get myself out of this. And so then the guy, just like another good prosecutor, asked her the same question 3 times. That's not what I'm asking you. Was it a mistake? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let me ask you again. Was it a mistake? And now this is going to go on 60 Minutes. Hopefully, they'll probably edit it out. They've been editing it a lot. And everybody watching, when you see it on Sunday, you can actually see her face. You can see her reaction. And you realize at that point, she knows she's stuck. And there's no place for her to go.
But we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
So, you need Congress to act to actually fix the problem. Donald Trump's out there telling everybody, no, you don't. You literally could walk down to Joe's office, have Joe sign a piece of paper, and it's done. Why does she keep relying on this lie that you need to have Congress do something? We just saw 4 years ago, Donald Trump, hey, first day, hey, let's close it. Close that now. But either the people on the left are idiots, or they're just anarchists and communists that don't care. In any event, independents who are in the middle and Democrats who still have a working frontal lobe can see she's full of crap. And so here's Megyn Kelly, who's basically going to call her out on her crap at this point.
You recently visited the southern border and embraced President Biden's recent crackdown on asylum seekers. This was his break glass in case of emergency plan he did, like in June, recognizing he was losing and that he needed to shore up the border because it was turning into the number 1 issue for Democrats. So he started banning asylum seekers with executive order. And he says, and that crackdown produced an almost immediate and dramatic decrease in the number of border crossings.
An executive order. So he was able to, you are able to do it, correct? Yes. And it worked, yes. Okay, just checking.
If that's the right answer now, why didn't your administration take those steps in 2021? This is okay. It's an okay question. However, there's a lot more to the story that did not make its way into this piece. She says the following. The first bill we proposed to Congress, the first bill was to fix our broken immigration system, knowing that if you want to actually fix it, we need Congress to act. it was not taken up. Okay, let's start right there. Here is what actually happened when they took office in January of 2021.
So as we do a deeper dive here, I want to make sure you guys know historically what happened, how it happened. And Megan's basically going to tell you what happened as soon as they took office, because remember, Trump had it closed.
She and Joe Biden immediately, via his executive order, moved to suspend remain in Mexico for all asylum seekers, which under Trump required them to stay in Mexico. So if it got denied, they wouldn't be our problem. They'd be Mexico's.
Do you remember that? You probably do. I'm wondering if there's, Democrats and independents who remember that Trump made that happen with the stroke of a pen. That is still available today.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got rid of that. They halted construction of the border wall. Day one. February 2021. So within weeks of taking office, they initiated a review of policies that have effectively closed the U.S. border to asylum seekers.
They removed the stain on our reputation.
To remove the stain on our reputation is what Dementia Joe said.
The stroke of his pen on Tuesday, President Joe Biden began the difficult process of rolling back some of former President Donald Trump's most controversial immigration policies, signing 3 executive orders.
Not really sure. I'm not really sure. I can't really make it out. The Darth Vader looking person on the right, on Joe's right, standing there with the mask on, I'm pretty sure is Kamala Harris. And the other guy in the bald head, I'm pretty sure is Mayorkas. Both of them are watching this guy, with the stroke of a pen, change everything. And she said in the previous interview, I wouldn't do anything different. Those were her words. Understand, every single thing that Dementia Joe has done, she said, I wouldn't do a single thing different. So, and I'm sure Trump's going to come up with it, you basically are going to take the pen and say, just let him come on in. Because Dementia Joe, he wanted to get reelected and he understood I may not go hog crazy, so, we'll do something. But if she gets elected, she just said, there's nothing I would do differently. So let me just go ahead and let them in because, we don't want there to be a 2028.
We're going to work to undo the moral and national shame.
The moral and national shame. I'm pretty sure you weren't ashamed. I'm pretty sure everyone watching this video was pretty much, I'm not shamed at all. We're basically keeping our sovereignty.
The previous administration.
Biden also ordered a review of asylum processing at the U.S.-Mexico border and the immigration system. Less than 2 weeks on the job, but Biden aides say they need time to unravel layers of Trump-era immigration restrictions to put in place new, more migrant-friendly systems.
He and she...
Oh, we got to put in some more, quote, migrant-friendly systems. Did you ask the people who live near the border how they felt? Some American-friendly systems? I wouldn't do anything different, is what she said. That's the theme of this. Because even though she's asked these questions by 60 Minutes, you have to remember the very first thing she said on The View. I wouldn't do anything different. Nope, nothing.
Undid it. That's what was happening when they took office. They began a review of the fast-track deportation procedure known as expedited removal, which allows immigration authorities to remove an individual without a hearing before an immigration judge. They got rid of that. They expanded the U.S. refugee admissions program and rescinded Trump's policies that limited refugee admission.
Rescinded, got rid of, and I wouldn't do anything different. I'm sorry if I'm going to repeat it because I want you to understand as you dive deep into what she said here. She basically put a stamp on everything Dementia Joe did and said she would do everything the same. So as Megan is here reading off all the stuff that they did, which a lot of you may not know, we saw the aftermath. We see the basic invasion of what occurred after. But they did all this in the first couple weeks.
And required additional vetting. That's what they did.
There's no getting around it. You threw the border wide open and then blamed it on Congress. It wasn't open. It was closed. How did it get open? Well, Joe signed all these papers to make sure we change it. So it was closed. You're admitting to the public that it was closed when you guys took office. And as Trump likes to show that pretty chart of his that saved his life, it was nearly zero. And then within 2 weeks, you got into office and said, you know what? We're not going to do anything. We're going to let it be wide open. We want, quote, migrant-friendly policies. And let's just open it and we'll just keep peeling stuff away until it's wide open. Because Congress won't do anything. What do you want us to do? You could have not used that pen. We all know now. We've seen the chart from Trump. We heard the number. We understand what you did. And all you had to do was not use that pen. You created a problem and then said, hey, Congress, fix this. When you had to fix the entire time you guys have been in office. You literally could have took this and went back down to see Joe and said, Joe, hey, it's not working. Let's close this. You lied to the American people. Absolutely lied.
That your economic plan would add $3 trillion to the federal deficit over the next decade. How are you going to pay for that?
Okay, question. You're going to do all these different things that you say you want to do. Okay, I'm not even going to talk to you about what you're going to do. The only question I want to know, how are you going to pay for it? That was the question. How are you going to pay for it?
Okay, so the other economists that have reviewed
So this guy basically said, you know, you don't know how you're going to pay for it. She goes, well, we got guys on my side who tell me it's okay. Okay.
my plan versus my opponent and determined that my economic plan would strengthen America's economy. His would weaken it.
But
My plan, Bill, if you don't mind,
So he was about to tell her, he was about to say, hey, I didn't ask you all that. I asked you how you're going to pay for it. She's like, no, Bill, I'm talking.
plan is about saying that when you invest in small businesses, you invest in the middle class, and you strengthen America's economy. Small business.
Problem I have with this, before she gets into her non-answer, is with the same 2 weeks in when you did the stroke of the pen and said you're not going to do Trump's border stuff, why didn't you strengthen small businesses then? You know, every single interview she does, and Trump has said it, that could be the answer to your question. That could be the prelude. Okay, I heard your answer. Why didn't you do it? Because you just said Joe would do you would do everything he did. So did you never talk to Joe and say, hey, listen, why don't we do our best to, strengthen small business? Since that's what you want to do, did it just become an epiphany? Is it just now that something that you're realizing? Are Democrats that stupid to not realize independents and Republicans look at you with side eye and go, what are you talking about?
Businesses are part of the backbone of America's economy.
But pardon me, Madam Vice President.
Pardon me, ma'am. Jane, you stupid, ignorant slut. I asked you how you going to pay for it.
The question was, how are you going to pay for it?
This is being broadcast on national television on Sunday if they don't edit it. Excuse me. Yeah, all that BS. How you going to pay for it, girl? Where the money coming from? And of course, here comes your prototypical socialist communist answer.
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in tax.
Do me a favor. I've said this 1,000 times. Go to your local socialist or Democrat friend and ask him to, or her to define fair share. It's unicorns. It means absolutely nothing. What is a fair share? They keep saying it. She's running on it. She spoke it at 60 Minutes, and nobody ever asked, what's the fair share? Better yet, and this is a really important question, please define rich. Oh yeah. Because if the rich aren't paying their fair share, so I got two questions for you, Miss Harris. Define rich and define fair share. We'd like to see both of those. Anybody know? I'm sure there's nobody in the chat who can definitively say who's rich and who's not. And I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat, nobody could say what the fair share is. It is unicorns and fluffies. It means absolutely nothing. This woman is running for president of the United States and she's talking about fairy dust and unicorns. And this guy from 60 Minutes, Bill Whitaker, knows it.
It is not right that teachers and nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations.
See, now, now, she doesn't know what she's talking about. You see, everybody who has used that argument about teachers and firefighters paying a higher, more taxes, everybody who says that, they talk about proportionately. The teacher that pays, X amount in taxes per year is paying a higher proportion of her income than a guy who's making a couple, 10, 5, 30 million a year. The tax rate, and I know you've heard Trump talk about this because he's kind of laughed at them. And he's like, what are you going to do about the tax rate? I'm paying what I'm supposed to pay. You remember that? Remember that during the debate with Hillary? And he kind of just looked at her and said, you'll never change it. I know you'll never change it because I use it and all of your friends use it. And all of their billionaire friends use it. And these are the same people who are cutting you a check. Mark Cuban, you all use it. It's the biggest scam going. Oh yeah, we got to help the small people. We got to do, reform taxes. Where at? All those tax deductions. If you're still using a 1040 as your tax return, maybe that's what defines rich. Because if you're not scheduling and putting together itemization like she does, and like every person with any degree of assets do, oh, I need to deduct this. Oh, I just got my hair done. Oh, I got to deduct that. Oh, I just got a new suit for work. Oh, let me deduct that. Trump uses it unabashedly. Yeah, I use it because that's the code that you wrote. Why don't we go to a 10% flat tax? Why don't we just go with no income tax and just put additional sales tax on consumption? Democrats hate that. They don't want to do that. Oh my God, what are you talking about? So when you're talking fair share and you start saying this fluffy unicorn thing about that they pay more taxes than billionaires, it's an outright lie. It's an outright lie that the left has somehow bought into. If the teacher pays a couple grand in taxes, they are not paying the same amount of taxes that Elon Musk is paying. Ain't happening. It's a lie. It's a lie that the communists and Marxists rely on to try and basically hoodwink people who don't know any better. Unfortunately, she said this on CBS News.
I plan on making that fair.
But we're dealing with the real world here.
How embarrassing is it that a CBS anchor on 60 Minutes basically looked at the presidential candidate for the Democrat Party and said, hey, listen, I understand you've got your unicorns and your fairies and pixie dust, but we're in the real world. He basically witch slapped her. Wake up. This is real. We're talking real stuff here, okay? Don't come at me with fair share and rich. This is the real world. A anchor on CBS News is just working very hard here to end her campaign. Unbelievable.
The real world includes...
How are you going to get this through Congress?
He cut her off again. I don't want to hear your BS. How are you going to get it through Congress? You want to tax people at a different rate and do all this everything. knowing full well that the people in Congress are taking advantage of every single tax loophole you think you want to cut. This is real world, he's saying. How are you going to get it through Congress? Either side of Congress. You can't even pass your BS in the Democrat side. How do I know that? Because every single one of those Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, every single one of them that are making millions are going to, what are you, stupid? They're never going to pass it. She can't get it through the Democrat side. You know Mark Cuban ain't going to go for that. And he's working with her. You know all these lefties and the guy from LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, billionaire, they're not going to go for that. Tay-Tay? No, Taylor Swift ain't going for it. This is dead on arrival. It sounds nice to Marxist. Fair share from the rich, who are paying less than teachers and firemen. And this guy from CBS tells her, hey man, it's me. It's Bill. Can we come back to the real world? You can't even get this through Congress. Oh, what a smackdown.
You know, when you talk quietly with a lot of folks in Congress, they know exactly what I'm talking about because their constituents know exactly what I'm talking about. Their constituents are those firefighters and teachers and nurses. Their constituents are middle-class, hardworking folk.
And Congress has shown no inclination to...
He let her go on and just reminded her again, it ain't ever gonna happen, girlie.
...move in your direction.
I disagree with you. There are plenty of leaders in Congress who understand and know that the Trump tax cuts blew up our federal deficit. None of us, and certainly I cannot afford to be myopic in terms of how I think about strengthening America's economy. Let me tell you something. I am a devout public servant, you know that. I am also a capitalist. And I know the limitations of government.
I don't think you do. Because if you did, you would know that you would need an overwhelming amount of the Democrats to go along with your crazy plan. And you're probably talking to Bill Whitaker, an anchor on 60 Minutes who's been there for quite some time, who's rich, who's telling you, it ain't gonna happen, girlie. Yeah, I mean, you can come up with all the stuff that you want in terms of how you're going to make sure it's going to work. And you've probably talked to many people in Congress. Seriously, you haven't. Maybe a couple of the other Marxists, maybe AOC, but she ain't even going to pay it. She's making big bank. So who is it that's going to pass this thing that's negatively going to affect them? Hey, listen, I've got this great plan. We're going to raise their taxes to like 40%. Y'all in with me? No. So she's lying. I've never, other than her saying she wants to raise it, I've never met in my life somebody who says, you know what, I'd like to give much more to the government. Please, go ahead and tax my unrealized capital gains. Please. You know, I don't need that money. Even the guys making billions don't say that. She's a liar. A flat-out liar. Let me take a few comments before we go here. What? She's no capitalist. No, not at all. Not at all. She's the antithesis of what a capitalist is like. It's up to Cat 5 Bear. Yeah, even her friends hate her. That's funny. Oh, man. A capitalist? Really? Stupid people don't know they're stupid. Maybe. You guys got that one. Capitalist. I just almost messed myself. So what happens if she refuses to certify the election as vice president? I don't think she's going to have any choice. I mean, if you don't do that, after everything you've told people for the last 4 years, Trump's this, Trump's that, and we just want to have an election that's fair, and you do that, you're basically telling the American people, yeah, we're taking over. And I don't think that'll go well. Wonder if 60 Minutes brought up the $50K she's giving to small business. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. She lies constantly. And I can't show you the visuals. But when you watch this thing on Sunday and you see the contortion of her face and blinking and everything else, like I said, any prosecutor would look at her and go, yeah, you stupid, girl. Yeah, you stupid. Joe doesn't even like her. Exactly. Barry can't give the rest of my money away. Oh man, they signed a law that she has to after Trump. It's crazy. It says here, Tommy Radcliffe, my wife was on a school board special ed teacher for 38 years. She paid zero taxes for the last 20 years because I do them correctly, use the law, and pay no taxes. As Trump once said, when they gave him a hard time about paying taxes, that's exactly what he said. I know the law. The law of how taxes are paid. Our tax code is like 1,000 pages plus, but if you know what to do, you can really reduce your tax burden. One thing I want to say to all of you watching this right now, regardless of your income level, there's two words that you really have to differentiate from yourself, for yourself. One is called evade, and the other word is called avoid. If you evade taxes, then you're doing something criminal and can get yourself in a lot of trouble. If you avoid taxes, you are doing exactly what the law was designed for. It is designed for you not to have to pay as much in taxes to the government. They don't teach it in school. Very few people understand it. That gentleman did. But there's a big difference between everybody who says evade and avoid. Don't evade because you're doing something bad. Avoid, believe it or not, it's actually encouraged for you to avoid paying taxes. Because if you're avoiding paying taxes, you are using all of the different clauses and documentation and itemization and forms available to you to reduce that tax liability. Why would they create the forms? Why would they allow certain loopholes and deductions and write-offs? Why is it legal? Why are you not taking advantage of it? Probably because you don't know. Probably because you're not in a position to do that. So when she says the rich paying their fair share, it's a pipe dream that's never going to happen. How do I know? Because you wrote the tax law. Not her specifically, but our government has never done much of anything with our tax law. And so everybody who knows better is using that tax law to reduce their tax liability. It's a shell game. Most people won't break it down for people. If you knew how many things you could deduct off your taxes so that you're not stuck, how many different credits you can take, how many different forms you may need to fill out and schedule. I mean, I know people in the construction business, my dad was one, and people would like, how do you keep getting all these new trucks? You get all these new trucks because the government wants you to keep spending money, so they say if you go out and buy a new truck every year, guess what? You can deduct that money. Percentage of. And that's why a lot of people lease who are in business. Why? Because they get a new car every 1 or 2 years. You probably don't know that. You're paying your payment over 6 or 7 years or 4 years, not realizing, hey, the rich people are out there getting new cars every year. Are they paying for it? Hell no. They're writing it off. There are people doing makeup, wardrobe, automobiles, trucks, computer equipment, all of these things that are necessary for you to conduct business. And imagine, I'm sitting here with a couple lights, a camera, a microphone, a couple of monitors. Imagine that to someone who owns 200 computers that they have to replace with the software. Oh yeah, you get to write all that stuff off. All of it. I used to work for a radio station back in the day. This one will get you crazy. I used to work for a radio station and the general manager of the radio station, no lie, honest truth, this was in Orlando. She would fly to Dallas twice a month to get her hair done and visit family and other things, but she would get her hair done in Dallas. Why would she fly all the way to Dallas to get her hair done and then, spend a weekend in a hotel and then fly back? Right off. She was on television all the time. She did lots of interviews. And so she would go all the way to Texas, see her family, spend the weekend with them, get back on a jet, come home. You don't know that. You're not supposed to know that. But the people who are making money that she thinks she's going to go after so they can pay their fair share are laughing at her. They're laughing at her. Why? Because, as Bill said, you're never going to get that through Congress. How does he know that? Because all the people in Congress are doing the same damn thing. If you've never seen it, I advise you to go download the George Carlin comedy routine. Many of us have seen it, watched it. It's hilarious. We've laughed at it. And you didn't realize he was telling you the truth. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. However, what he didn't say is, you can get in it. Don't think that the doors to this giant country club are closed on you. You just don't know how to get it open. It's a giant club. Many people you may not even know, like that gentleman that was just talking about it. Yeah, he goes, I don't pay any taxes. How does he not pay taxes? I'm sure he has an accountant and he's got his forms and he knows exactly what to put on it. Completely legal. Evade, criminal. Avoid, encouraged. Encouraged because you're going to put more money back into the economy. And everybody who knows these, and I hate the word that people use, loophole. It's no damn loophole, it's the law. Loophole makes it sound like you're getting around the law. No, it's the law. Hey, you can do this. Ooh, I didn't know that. You can do that. Oh, I didn't know that. They closed some of the entertainment stuff, but you used to be able to buy tickets to, concerts, football games. Oh, you know those big suites that corporations have? You think they're paying for that? Do you know that the NFL basically started redoing their stadiums because they realized how much money was in selling suites? So the corporation would buy this suite, and then guess what? Oh, we're just going to write it off because we entertain clients in here. Clients come in, watch a football game. Giant club. This is a real big-ass club, and you ain't in it, but you need to get in it. Even if you get in this much, you need to get in that club. Let's continue. Who remembers the 7 words? Okay.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has...
Okay, so you're going to hear get out your Paul Newman salad dressing because you're about to hear word salad.
...resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Hey, Netanyahu, it's not working out for you. Well, many things that we've done, we've seen results because of the movement, and the results of those things have made it so that the results actually matter. What? What'd she just say? You just told the American people that you can make sentences that don't have anything in them. You just repeat the same words over and over again. That's what you want in a president? Democrat, seriously? Come on, man. Trolls, seriously? This is what you want? Anything better than Orange Man? Someone who can't even put a paragraph together that makes any sense? Let's continue.
Let me tell you what your critics and the columnists say.
Okay.
They say that the reason so many voters don't know you is that you have changed your position on so many things. You were against fracking, now you're for it. You supported looser immigration policies, now you're tightening them up. You were for Medicare for all, now you're not. So many that people don't truly know what you believe or what you stand for.
Or trust you. Nobody can flip that much on their core values. Remember, she said earlier, not in this interview, but hey, my values haven't changed. Well, how the hell did you flip on all this stuff if your values haven't changed? We have you on tape saying your values haven't changed. So how did you do it?
I know you've heard that.
In the last 4 years, I have been Vice President of the United States, and I have been traveling our country. And I have been listening to folks and seeking what is possible in terms of common ground. I believe in building consensus. We are a diverse people, geographically, regionally, in terms of where we are in our backgrounds. And what the American people do want is that we have leaders who can build consensus, where we can figure out compromise and understand it's not a bad thing, as long as you don't compromise your values, to find common.
But you told us your values are completely different than mine and most people's. So if you're not going to compromise your values, then everything that you've said thus far is BS.
Sense solutions. And that has been my approach.
Okay, so let's unpack what she just said. I want to build a consensus, where we all can come together and sing Kumbaya and have, similar viewpoints, even though we come from different backgrounds, because my values haven't changed. Okay, so your values include letting everybody in the country. You're never going to get it. It's not possible for you to get a consensus on that. Not going to happen. Never. Ever. You are for, I'm not really sure at this point how long, but you're for pretty much an advanced form of baby removal. You're never, ever going to get a consensus on that. Not going to happen. Ever. You're clearly stated for taxing unrealized capital gains and raising corporate taxes to whatever, 40%. You're never going to get a consensus on that. Never. There's nothing this woman stands for, nothing she wants to do that she is going to get a consensus for. It's never going to happen. So what she has just told CBS on television, airing this weekend, is that she would be completely and wholly ineffective with everything that she would like to see happen. She couldn't even do it while Dementia Joe and her are in office. You can't get a consensus on people in terms of what color toilet paper should be in the bathroom. The biggest problem I have with this is that a consensus isn't needed. You see, when she's talking about these things and the frameworks and what she wants to do, your guidepost, your absolute guidepost, should always be the Constitution. There is no consensus. We're not looking for, hey, what do you think, Bob? Hey, what do you... Hey, it says you can't do this. When you take a deeper dive into some of the things she says, and she's talked about censorship, she's talking about what she wants to do with X and Twitter, and she's talked about these things. Well, you should be reading this document, called the Constitution. I don't give a crap about your need for a consensus. You have a direction. Every single person that's president has the same direction. And that direction is follow the damn Constitution. So that question, I think, that he asked her was a landmine. That was an absolute landmine that she just went out and told you she's not interested in following the Constitution. The answer I would have given to that is I'm going to do everything I can to uphold the United States Constitution, and I'm going to let that guide my principles and values moving forward. Very simple. And everything I do, everything I propose, is going to be based upon the Constitution. She keeps saying, I'm going to run to Congress, and we're going to talk about things that I want to do, and I'm going to build a consensus. And we already know there's whack jobs in there. So she's telling every single one of you, if there's any Democrats in here, you know what? Hey, she just told you she's not paying attention to the Constitution. That's not important to her. Not at all. Let's keep going.
Is democracy best served by President Biden stepping down? And
Oh, you're going to love this one. So, what he's going to ask her here is, hey, listen, you ain't been voted in for nothing. You were basically appointed. Is this what democracy is all about? You guys are always screaming, democracy, threat to democracy. And he's asking her point blank, is democracy you just taking office without ever going through a primary, without anybody voting for you? Not a single person?
Basically handing you a nomination. You didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
Now, any normal person would have had an answer prepared for this. Hey, listen, you understand he might ask you about how you just were, installed.
President Biden made a decision that I think history is going to show is rare among leaders, which was to put country before self. And I am proud to have earned the support of the vast majority of delegates.
Wait. You've earned. Notice how she slid that in there. Hey, he decided to walk away for party over country. Country over party. Hey, excuse me. What was that decision made from? Why was he in a point where he had to walk away for country over party? Nobody's asked her that. What was the catalyst in this decision? He looks perfectly normal. He's still president, right? Yeah, he's still president. So why, if he's still president, why isn't he still running? Why did this man have to make a decision of country over party? Not a single person has put that question to her or Dementia Joe. Why did he resign? Why didn't he resign if he really wants to put party over country? And then she came right back with, well, I've earned it. What did you earn?
To have been elected the Democratic nominee, to fight in this election over the next month for our democracy.
But I think this truncated process.
And he comes right back to her. You can tell this guy's not getting the answer. He's over it. He's tired of her BS. Hey, with all due respect, you're full of crap. I think democracy
is why people think or say they don't really know who you are.
Look, I've been in this.
Look, now she's going to get black on him.
This race for 70 days.
That's your answer? Look, I've been in this race for 70 days. Conversely, you've been vice president for 3.5, almost 3.25. You ain't done nothing. How did you earn it? I can't talk to you about that. Sorry or something. I earn, huh? Yeah, okay.
To your point, doesn't support our friend Ukraine.
So now she's on to Howard Stern. And, that great bastion of journalism that he is, she's talking to him about Trump.
Doesn't support, therefore, something America should always, and has always, by the way, been a champion of, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity, which means the importance of...
Stop. America has always stood for sovereignty and integrity. Then why did you let 20 million people in the country? Of course, they don't ask these questions. I'm letting you guys know, if I was Howard Stern or anybody else, I'm like, wait a second, you just said other countries are entitled to sovereignty. Not us. I'm just saying. Someone want to answer that?
Standing against anyone who tries to take another nation by force.
Right.
That's what we stand for as Americans, that you don't do that. And if you do that to our friends, we're going to stand with our friends.
Except you haven't stood with your friends. You've written them checks. Lots of checks that you still can't account for. Hey, Howard, why not ask her? Hey, listen, I see here that we spent $200 billion. Where'd it go?
You're getting played. And some would say, look, I grew up in the neighborhood. Some would say you're getting punked.
Yeah.
If you stand in favor of somebody who's an adversary over your friends on principles that we all agree on.
Whoa. What principles we all agree on? I am so sick of these liberal hosts, whether it's news people or celebrity hosts like Howard Stern, just letting people vomit out of their mouth. There's no way they would let Trump say this. We all, a superlative, we all agree on? No, we don't agree on this.
And you look at it, it's not only that. He says he's going to be a dictator on day one.
You see what I mean? This woman's got nothing. At this point, you guys have to be realizing it as well. You have to be seeing it that she's flailing. She's trying to do softball interviews, and even with the softest of softball, she goes on Howard Stern, and all she can do is literally lie. You can't beat an opponent when you've got no possible game plan to beat them. You can't do it in football. You can't do it in baseball. You can't do it in any sport. Definitely can't do it in boxing. This guy's going to come here and take your face off, and all you're going to do is tell your coach or whatever, he's not really that good. He's a bad guy. It's utterly ridiculous.
Understand what dictators do. They jail journalists. They put people who are protesting in the street in jail.
He said,
you hear this stuff? He's going to jail journalists. Who put journalists in jail? Y'all did. Ask James Rosen. You did. Democrats put journalists in jail.
he said he thinks he wants to go after Jimmy Kimmel, a comedian. He wants to go after Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers. Even if someone had said years ago when I remember presidential, races, if someone said, "Oh, Kamala Harris isn't a black woman," they would have been out of the. They would have been out of the. Yeah. That would have been it. Would have been over.
What about if it's true? What about if it's true, Howard? There are many black people who don't consider her that. Their opinions mean nothing? I mean, Candace Owens did a full genealogy on it.
I mean, how do you challenge that? What do you do with that?
But back to the point.
Unbelievable. So now listen to this cut. This is a second cut deeper from the Howard Stern show.
I think that, Howard, people ask me, what do you think is going on, and what is the tension here? What's at stake? And there are many things, and I can be much more articulate than what I'm going to say. But
you have never been articulate. Nobody would confuse you with being articulate.
Ultimately, I do believe that this is an election that is about strength versus weakness.
You're not going to believe what you're about to hear. This is a woman who went on a national radio show, even though it's unserious, and said this election is about strength versus weakness. Just so you know, she's the one who's strong. Donald Trump is weak.
Yeah.
And weakness as projected by someone who puts himself in front of the American people and does not have the strength to stand in defense of their needs, their dreams.
Does she not realize what we all know? I mean, I'm serious. Does she not realize that all of us saw July 13th happen right in front of us? That we all saw a man get shot and stand to his feet and say, "Fight, fight, fight." And she has the unmitigated audacity to go on this show and say, "No, he's not a fighter. And he won't fight for Americans." you can call Donald Trump a lot of different things, but for you to say this man isn't a fighter means you're absolutely lying. You're basically vomiting on yourself, and you're doing nothing but gaslighting. Let me just prove it to you. In addition to him being shot, in addition to another guy laying in the grass trying to, take a shot at him at golf course, and he keeps going. In addition to him having to use different airplanes because, people are trying to take him out with surface-to-air missiles. In addition to being dragged through a litany of court cases that mean nothing. In addition to having his billion-dollar property told by some judge up in New York who's never understood Florida real estate, it's only worth $18 million. In addition to have everyone associated with him having their businesses destroyed, going after every possible person who's ever got any kind of tie to him, disbarring them, bankrupting them, Steve Bannon still in jail. In addition to all that, then you rifle through his wife's underwear. In addition to all of that, you're going to tell me this man's not a fighter? I'm pretty sure every Democrat would say, damn, man, this dude takes a punch and just keeps coming. He is the definition of a fighter. And you're trying to gaslight Howard Stern's audience into saying he's not a fighter? What exactly would you call a fighter? Because I'm watching this 78-year-old man travel across the country, deal with everything you've thrown at him. Hasn't backed down from one single fight. Somehow finds the energy to take rally after rally after rally and flying across the country doing this and doing that. And he's standing, coming after you. And somehow you tell me that's not a fighter? I hope I can talk to my grandson and say, this is what you should be doing. This is how you face adversity. This is how you come back and never let somebody get the best of you. Don't ever back down. Every coach on every single team I've ever played on would tell you, that's a fighter. You don't give up. And this woman she should have been slapped for saying this man's not a fighter. My gosh.
Dreams, their desires, the work that must happen to make sure that we are a secure nation, that we are nurturing and protecting our alliances around the world, that we are...
She's, riffing here, a secure nation. How can she possibly talk about us being a secure nation when you let 20 million plus people in here and we don't even know who they are and we know a bunch of them are criminals and everything else? How can you possibly say that with a straight face?
Supporting America's military, that we are fighting to bring the cost of living down for working families, that we are building businesses, building growth.
She's delusional. Either that, she was drunk. Everything she just said, she was describing Trump. Every single word of it, she was describing Donald Trump. I don't know how she can stand herself at this point. I really don't. So let me just see if I can line this up. Hold on. I want to let you hear one thing else.
Who would that?
Okay, so she's still talking. Okay, let me
back to the point.
All right, here we go.
In your debate with J.D. Vance, you said, I'm a knucklehead.
All right. So it's bad enough that it wasn't a good day for her. But a lot of people don't know it wasn't a good day for Timmy either. The same guy, Bill Whitaker, decides he's going to, interview Knucklehead. And it didn't go well. Here's Knucklehead.
At times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
So he did it again. You notice how he phrased that question. How long have you been beating your wife? I.e., what he just said is, Isn't that kind of misrepresentation bad? Great interviewer. He knows how to put you on the spot, because now you have to answer the question knowing he was predisposed to saying you misrepresented, i.e. lied to everybody. He didn't say, hey, listen, do you think you misrepresented yourself? Have people accused you of misrepresenting yourself? No, he said you did. You misrepresented yourself. How does Timmy get out of this?
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
But I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Oh, this guy's slicing and dicing.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
You imagine, I just want you to imagine. I want you to think of something. You meet the woman or man of your dreams, and somebody, tells your husband or fiance or wife, I don't know if you can trust this dude. You might want to ask him about his past and what he said to you. Before you decide to, put the ring on, you need to confront him. Honey, we're about to take a big step here. Okay. And I understand you've been misrepresented yourself to other people. I heard from the grapevine. Yeah. Can you be truthful with me? Can I trust you? And the answer to that question that he just gave, I think I can. His words. Can you be trusted? I think I can. What? I gotta go, okay? Here's some money for dinner. I'm out. There ain't any one of you who got to a serious relationship or an employee, and you ask that employee straight up, you've been confused of being a liar before. A knucklehead. Yeah, we know you're not known for telling the truth. Bill, before I marry you, before I hire you, can you be trusted? What would the answer to that question be if it was posed to you? Of course, honey. Of course, sir. I can be trusted. I made some mistakes in the past. I'm ready to run through walls here. I'm ready to protect you and provide for you if it's talking to a woman. That man just looked at a reporter on 60 Minutes and said, I think so. You're running to be the Vice President of the United States of America, and you want us to elect you because we're supposed to trust you because you think you can be trusted? Hence, you now know why I said 60 Minutes officially terminated the Kamala Harris campaign. I hope I dove deep and showed you exactly, not just a clip here or a clip there, but I hope I broke it down for you so you understand right now, these people are stark raving mad. They don't even deserve to be in Congress. This guy's a freaking governor. This is the governor of Minnesota who just said, can you be trusted? I think so. What? Say what? Kamala Harris can't even answer a question. They're applying for the two biggest jobs in our country, and one guy says I can't be trusted, and the other woman, we don't even know what she says. That's what I wanted to show you guys tonight. Yeah, Sharon, you must be a little bit behind. Yeah, earned. She said that. I think so to me translates to I don't know. Can you even imagine someone you love saying that? Can I trust you? I think so. Unless something pretty comes by. I don't know. Maybe a horse, a palomino comes by. I'm not really sure. Might have this nice looking palomino or one of them, Lippinzoners come by. They're really good looking horses. Yeah, we have to. We have got to swamp the vote. We have to. Mark Mummy says they are broken. seriously broken. Hey, Papa John, I crack you up. I have to laugh because if you don't laugh when you hear this stuff and you don't take a step back and say to yourself, these people are actually running to be president and vice president of the entire country. They're looking to lead 300 plus million people. And they got nothing. And then you see these people telling us the polls, oh, she's running neck and neck with him. Oh, it looks like it's going to be a close race. And I'm like, who are these maggot and brain infested people who look at this stuff and go, that sounds good to me? I mean, I don't know if there's any trolls in here, but yeah, every single one of you. What this guy goes, Sweet Tea Lemon says, yeah, that's like saying, I think I love you. How long is that relationship going to last? You ain't making it through dinner. Can I trust you? I think you could. Oh my goodness. The bed bug and the knucklehead, is this what it has come to? Yeah, that's exactly what it's come to. Randy says, these two scare the crap out of me. I laugh. I make some jokes about it, but I try to outline this stuff so you guys can actually see what this woman is saying in comfortable surroundings. She's at Howard Stern, she's at The View, she's at CBS. Doesn't that also make you think, given her responses at the debate, doesn't that call that into question? When you can hear her walk into an interview and make absolutely no sense, and you turn on a debate and you're like, oh, those earrings, they might be what everyone thinks they are. Because, damn girl, you can't even answer a question. The View? I mean, basically, you could have had Whoopi hitting you under the table telling you when to say what you need to say, and you told people the very first second, I wouldn't do anything different. Aren't you running to be a, quote, change agent? Hasn't she told everybody she looks to change things? I'm going to do everything exactly the same because you know what? I don't know any other way. On Fox, she would walk off the stage live. Yeah. If they ever did a debate and Trump should call her bluff and have Elon make the call. Hey, we're going to have that third debate. It ain't happening on Fox, okay? It's going to happen on X. And we got Tucker Carlson ready to moderate, and you can pick somebody on your end. You ready to do this? It'd be over. It's over already. But at this point, quit with the charade about this network or that. Do it on X where everybody can see it, and we know there's no funny games going on. I wouldn't let them drive my car. Absolutely. They can't win. No way. I'm glad you're seeing it. In an honest fight, they're done. Done. It's like getting in the ring with somebody who's like 125 pounds, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? I'm going to destroy this. Oh, you don't know he's got a 38 in his waistband. Okay, that's how he's going to win. But other than that, there's no I'm pounding this guy into oblivion. I'm just going to hold him by the neck and just keep raining blows on him. Until, he does something illegal. There's no way she can win. You all have to begin feeling that way. You just heard her. On Sunday, you'll actually see it. And you will get to understand this woman has vapid space up there. It's empty. She's got rooms in the house with no furniture. And him? Tim? He's automatically disqualified. He just told America, I think you can trust me. No, man, that ain't going to make it. That ain't going to make it at all. I wouldn't let them run a yard sale. Oh, yeah, there's no need for another debate. I completely agree. Barry, I voted early today. Was humbled to see the early voter turnout. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Somebody said it went by too fast that she's fearful of our young people. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you keep listening to her, your IQ will drop drastically. This is both horrible and scary. Now, you guys heard it. And Mark, you're right. Bury the brainwashed liberals hear what they want to hear. You just heard it. Sunday, if you choose to watch it after a football game or something and see what actually happens, you're going to be surprised. Why are you going to be surprised? Because in addition to her being a complete failure, CBS altered the interview. I wanted to close with that, just so you guys know. The interview that is floating around, the clips that are everywhere, people are now looking at it because they have the finished clips, the finished, edited stuff. And they took a lot of this stuff out of it. Why? Who gave them the call and said, hey, listen, you can't show that. If you show that, she'll lose hugely. That's what they're doing. Let me see if I can find that. Because now that's everywhere as well. Everywhere, everyone is talking about and showing the fact that she altered the clips. Let me see right here. 1 second, I'll find it. Because it's all over the place, and of course right now I can't find it. But you can look around on X, you'll find it, I'll post it. Maybe I did post it. Wait a second. Let me check out my own page. See if I can bring it up. I think, oh, by the way, the porn industry went ahead and endorsed Kamala. The porn industry. All right, so here it is. Let me bring this up on screen. 60 Minutes, and you can find this anywhere. 60 Minutes removed Kamala's word salad in the latest version. 1984 is here. This was what she said, and you can listen to it. I can't play it, but this is what she said, and it's the actual answer, and then you'll hear the edited answer. You are watching a Broadway play at this point. They are cheating every possible way they can. Knowing full well, we've all seen the actual clips. Knowing full well that many of us have already downloaded and talked about the actual clips. They don't care. They don't care that you know, because they may influence a couple of nuts who haven't seen the original clips. They're going to go that far as to try and edit because she can't make a sentence. When Tim Waltz says, I think you can trust me, he was being seriously. He don't know. If something happens, he lied at the debate about the calendar dates for the baby removal. Completely lied. And they keep getting caught, and they don't care. Why do they not care? Think about that. Why would you lie on a videotape and not care that people are finding out what you're saying? Well, part of that reason is because you know that your constituents, the people who will vote for you, don't care. Doesn't matter. And you try to influence the people in the middle who maybe are not seeing a video like mine, like I'm just showing you guys, and they're just putting it out there and they don't care. They do not care what you see, how you see it, when you see it. They'll change it. They'll probably dub it, maybe even put some AI in it or anything, just so that they can try and advance her. You're being lied to. You're watching a movie, and it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but that's it. So let me look at the super chats because so we can get out of here and enjoy your evenings. Tomorrow, I think we have a couple rallies tomorrow. Hold on. Let me just check that, see if anything is updated on the Trump page. All right, so tomorrow is Wednesday. We have a rally or speech in Scranton, Pennsylvania at 2:30. We'll be going live. And then tomorrow night at 6:30, there's a rally in Reading, Pennsylvania. So we've got two events tomorrow with Trump. Thursday, we're off for now. And Friday, two big ones. You got the speech in Aurora, and then he just added, another rally in Reno, Nevada on Friday night, 5:30, which is basically 8:30 our time. So we're going to have a late night on Friday. Then Saturday he's in Coachella in California. Then Sunday he's in Prescott Valley, Arizona. We're going to be busy. Y'all need to keep coming back because we got some business to take care of. So, honey, get me some like tiger juice, whatever. Call his doctor. Make sure I'm all set up because damn, he's doing some stuff, and we're gonna cover it. And thank God, the stream didn't break tonight, and so we'll actually have some stuff to talk about. So, let's go ahead and discuss these super chats, and boom, here we go. All right, so we've got 49 from Club 1852. Can't wait until we never have to hear that voice anymore. I agree with you. Praying for those in Milton's Path and for those in North Carolina. Like I said, there's 3 events tomorrow. I'm hoping that we're going to be okay here, and I'm really hoping that people up there are going to be fine as well. So we'll see what happens. Gina Duncan, Tim lied in the debate. That's his son saw a shooting. Yep. My Yorkie babies, Donald Trump will hold a rally in Prescott Valley, Arizona this Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you for all your help with getting us through this election. I'll be live. Don Perkins, I didn't go all the way to the top. I'm sorry, my fault. Johnny Foltz, thank you. Chris, Barry, you present this info so well. Thank you. I like to make sure I break things down and do a deeper dive. I'm sure many of you had seen some of those clips already, but I wanted you to understand what these people are saying and then also draw your own conclusions. Camel Toe scared of pissing off Biden. Chris, just say no to the toe. Alfred Ripa, she acts like she already won, doesn't trust the Dems. I know. That kind of concerns me. You're acting like you already got this in the bag. Brian Reeves, thank you very much. Marcy Dale, sir, you are awesome. Thank you. Off topic, but could you do a show on how to use X? Yes, I was going to do that, but then Trump did an event with the Jewish people yesterday, so I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to tie it into a show about Elon. And I was going to do it tomorrow, not knowing that the guy scheduled 2 rallies. So I have to keep bumping things back because of his schedule, but I definitely have that in the works. Estrella, she brought her knee pads with her and Bill turned her down. Mr. Krabs, thank you. Preleon, Duck Kamala, Duck FEMA for the hurricane victims or helicopter juice. Thank you, Uncle Barry. Thank you. Ozark Ghost Hunter, please tell us you and your wife not staying home through the hurricane. We kind of like y'all around here. All right, so let me just let you guys know. Thank you for the concern. We are 250 miles southeast of Tampa. I mean, Florida's a big state. A lot of people don't realize it. Even I didn't when I lived in Connecticut, because if you drove 6 hours from your home in Connecticut, you're passing through 4 or 5 states. You're going to go through basically New York and New Jersey and Delaware and D.C. Here, they're all the way up there. They're almost 5 hours away. And we're still getting the rain bands and stuff, but we should be okay. As long as this thing doesn't jog to the south, we should be okay. Kyle Campbell, investing Roth IRA in the stock market. Any gains are tax-free. You can use Roth IRA principal to buy your first house, also tax-free. Thank you, Kyle, for that information. Tamara, what is DEI? Didn't earn it. That was the first thing she had to say. I earned it. Doing what? Oh, no, we don't want to ask. Larry, Fort Myers here, hunkering down on my house. Bring it on, Milton. Expect to be Cat 3 when it hits Tampa. Lots of rain and strong winds here. Good luck. It's not the rain that's going to get you, and it's not the wind that's going to get you, as we all know here in South Florida. Living in Fort Myers, wonder what that storm surge is going to be like over there. Black T, fanfare logo on front, please. Okay. Keys, Fox News has her up in the polls again. Don't even listen to these things. Don't even listen to them. Gina Duncan, Tim lied in debate that his son saw. Yes, we talked about that. My Yorkie babies mentioned her. Don Perkins, thank you. And Ray Smith, she retracted her message. Okay, that's cool. In any event, thank you guys all. I mean, we've got 2 big events tomorrow. I'll post them, but let me just get the times. We're going to have a 2:30 speech in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Got to win Pennsylvania. And then a 6:30 rally in Reading, Pennsylvania. So I was going to do the Elon show tomorrow at 7. Going to have to bump it. Looks like if everything stays clear, we'll do the Twitter X Elon stuff on Thursday. But we've got 2 major events scheduled for tomorrow right now, as of right now. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. I know you got a lot of opportunity to look elsewhere. So I really appreciate it. And if you look around, as those of you who are on Twitter right now, if you look around and you put 60 Minutes Kamala as your search term, let me just show you that real quick. That might be something worth showing people. Those of you who are on X. All right, so let's do this before we close. All right, so boom. Elon, or just go to Elon's page because he's let's see, has he posted all of it? No, he didn't post all of it. All right, so you're gonna go home. I just clicked on the home button, and you're gonna go up. You can't see it all, but let me do this so you can see it. All right. Okay. All right, so you guys can see. See this little icon where it says search right here? If you click on there, and then the search window is up above. And if you put in 60 minutes, 60 minutes Kamala, here's what's going to happen. All these clips, everything about it, they're all sitting here. So you can be able to see all this stuff. Everyone's talking about the way they edited the clips right now. Everyone's posting about that edited clip. But you'll see them all in here. Easy way to look, by the way, is if you click on this button up here that says media, and if you click on the button that says media, all the interview clips are right here. See them all right there? All you gotta do is click on them. Some were short, some were longer, but they're all over the place. And so you can begin pulling those down and taking a look at them, because she lied, and you can see the look on her face of complete terror, knowing that she just completely flubbed it. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you with 2 big events tomorrow.